Well, boys, I went to go try my first front dig. The parking brake wasn't grabbing hard enough, so I stood on the brakes, stepped on the gas, and immediately heard a bang in the front end. That is a good axle shaft. Front diff is locked, by the way. Ooh, that's a broken burr field. All right, well, you've seen the intro clip, so you already know what's going on. The pickup is just about done, although I do now have to change a burr field that I broke on the test drive. We have now learned we can't stand on the brakes and do front digs, at least until I give up and buy RCV 30 spline axles. So yeah, let's get the pickup up on the lift and I'll go over everything that's happened since the last video. All right, let's start at the front. Apologies if I repeat anything. I can't remember exactly where I left off with the last video, but I'll try and just talk about everything that's changed since. So front end, not much different. I think all the geometry was decided by the last point. Now everything's just painted, all good. Where the airbags are here, I rolled this nice lip on a ring roller to support that. The airbags are now fully attached. I have these Rancho shocks. I'll have the part number in the description of the video. Airlines all plumbed. Now have Marlin Crawler extended brake lines. I have the front locker almost hooked back up. This is my cable locker setup. I just need to hook that back to the actual actuator there. Front drive shaft's installed. I don't think any of the geometry here has changed. I have these outriggers now. I can get the light to balance. Connecting back here. That's all good. When we come back here, I don't think I had this done yet in the previous video. This is a Trail Tough rear disconnect kit, which is pretty cool. So what this does is it can actually slide a shaft off and let the rear disconnect. That's how I was doing a front dig. And I have it hooked up so that it runs off of the factory parking brake lever. And then there's a spring up here that preloads it to keep it engaged when that's not happening. Then, you know what? I should grab a light. 1 second. That's much better. Too much black paint. So up above the drive shaft, we've got access to the back of the valve body that controls the air ride. So there's one input from the air tank and then 8 outputs. 4 of them go to pressure sensors and then 4 of them go to airlines. So in the future, if I do maybe an air shock in the back, or if I go crazy in 4-link with airbags in the back, I can just run them from there. And all the wiring harness is just super ugly tucked up here because it came with a pre-built harness. And all the airlines that run out of here, any places where they contact hard parts on the vehicle, I just use this 3/8 nylon braided vinyl tubing that you can get at Home Depot, pretty cheap. And then I just made up a jig with a block of wood and a knife to split it up. And then so see, anytime it goes, say over the frame or over the body, it's all connected there. The whole exhaust system has been redone. I have this temporary cherry bomb muffler on here because the old muffler was actually too long and getting too close to that shock and burning it. I expected this to be really loud. It's actually the same volume as the one it replaced, so that means the old muffler must have just been totally cooked. But this is all I could get in stock today in a 2-inch. But I'm going to order a new muffler and quiet the truck down again because I don't like it being particularly loud. Airlines all plumbed up here. We have a parking brake plumbed up there. Everything gets real tight up here. So this is just a universal cable kit going to the Jeep JK parking brake lever. We'll talk more about that later. It's up top. And then when we come to the back here. Parking brake lines run under the bed. Made new brackets, and then they just tie into the 3rd Gen 4Runner parking brake. So that's all pretty good. So not much changed since the last video, just everything's put together and finished now. Let's go to the top side. All right, the interior, it's done. We have carpet now. The tunnel is finished. I made these cute little aluminum door sills. Used the same aluminum for the edge of the console. So we've got all the shifters we had before. So there's a 5-speed. This is now a short shifter from Core Shifters. Honestly, not a huge fan of it. I find that it's really notchy, especially going into first. I like having the longer throw. You can feel the synchros better, but I'll get used to it. We've got the 2.23 to 1 crawl box. We've got the lever for the cable shifter that we saw below. So that actuates it. That unlocks it. 4.7 low, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. This lever, now, I can't do it because the drive line is bound up, but I can pull that out for the rear disconnect. And then here, we've got the valve body, so we can lower and raise the suspension. These two aren't used right now. If I turn the ignition on, check that out. That's a little piece that I got on eBay, usually for mini trucks. And on the top we've got overall pressure, and then we've got corner pressure. So that's pretty cool. So I don't have much air in it right now, but see, I can drop down the front left. Raise it back up, and you can see it's dead quick. I can almost make the truck jump with the 3/8 lines in the 5-gallon tank. And then let's go back here. This is the JK parking lever. I have the boot off of it right now because I was messing with it. Pain in the ass. If I had known how difficult these levers are, I would have picked something else. They have this tensioning system in them that's supposed to pre-tension the line. Puts 20 pounds of pull on the cables to take all the slack out. And then in theory, when you start pulling the lever, there's these little clutch springs in here that then grab that drum and connect the mechanism. But in practice, it takes so much of the pull for that clutch to engage that by the time you're actually pulling the cable, there's not enough pull left to tighten the parking brake. So what I did, I'll throw a picture in here, I can't see it from this side. I just welded the mechanism together so that I can set the tension on the back end of the system. And then on the front here, it just behaves like a normal parking brake lever. It works as one piece. I need to put the boot back on it now. Now, obviously from the intro video, in the first few times that I've used a parking brake, I think that cable stretched out, everything is worked in, so I'm gonna have to readjust it again. The first few times I pulled it, I had a great parking brake out of it. I think that's kind of it for how much work I've finished since the last video. It's really just like, I put it back together. I'm really happy with the result other than the broken Burfield. Drives great down the road. The transmission is shifting pretty well. I need to put the quieter muffler on, but I'm really happy with the handling characteristics. The truck drives around with about 20 pounds of air in the bags at ride height. It's nice and soft. I have those adjustable Rancho shocks, which I need to play around with. The next time you see this truck, we'll be wheeling, and we'll see how it behaves on the trails. So thanks for watching. See you next time.